So today in the shop, we got quite a few little details of the rear wheel. In fact, I think we're pretty much done with it now. We got to mount the KURVY girl, and I put some information on there that I've learned over the years concerning KURVY girls. All good. I've used them on pretty much every bike I have, and they'll be going on the MT-09, which I think is the only bike that doesn't have them now. I like having the offset valves. I also showed the method I've used in the past for mounting tires. And one of the problems is you've got to really get the tire hot. Well, today was not my lucky day of getting the tire hot. And it was a little bit of a struggle getting the tire on. Had to use the Motion Pro tool at the very end. But it all worked out in the end. And of course, in warmer weather and with wider rims, these tires go right on, as anybody that subscribes to the channel knows. Today was just a little bit more of a challenge because of the temperature. It's cool in the house. The tire is a narrow rim. But one thing we learned about Michelin's, they did not lie. These tires are perfectly balanced. This one was anyway. Absolutely perfectly balanced. So today I have no idea how the day is going to play out, but I do know one thing. Karen and I stayed up last night and watched a YouTube video about the Nenets, N-E-N-E-T-S, the nomads. They herd reindeer, and they were sleeping in tents at 40 below. And I was thinking, how do you work on a motorcycle at 40 below? It was a great show. N-E-N-E-T-S. Unbelievable. There's so many good things. And I hope Windy Videos, they're watching my video too. Because they don't have a TV, I guess they're not. So I noticed this morning our neighbor Dale is shoveling the roof of her house. Hey Dale, how you doing? You want to be on a Windy video? Oh, lucky you. So I bitch and moan about having to clean a pond. It takes me about 5 minutes every morning to chop a hole in the ice. These poor Nenet, N-E-N-E-T-S. I can't believe what a good video that was. It's a BBC video, and it made me want to go down and try to work on the wheel of my GS today. And I look out here and I think, wow, I think I got it tough. And I think my hands are freezing when I'm out here polishing and working. But boy, I don't even know what cold is. I don't care. I'm going in. I'm not shoveling the roof of my garage. I'm running inside to have coffee. Whew, what a sissy I am. So if you're not in the Siberian tundra, what a beautiful blue sky it is. If you didn't know, you'd have no idea it was 18 degrees out. It is freezing. So after watching that video about those poor nomadic people, they herd reindeer, and they have no coffee to drink. They drink tea. No wonder they're cold. Now here's my reindeer herd, and I have to feed these reindeer every morning. So after a really nice cup of coffee, a warm cup of coffee, let me go down here and see how my wheel is looking this morning. Oh, Dallas, if you were here sharing that cup of coffee with me, oh my God, hey. We have made some good progress on these parts. We even got the hardware cleaned up yesterday. We're still waiting for the decals from Joe. The kangaroo might have eaten them in the middle of Sydney. I don't know. They're still in Australia, wherever they are, California. I don't know, but I know my parts, little by little, are coming out great. Now, today, a couple of things. I want to put the KURVY girl in. That's number one. Number two, I'll email Joe, see what the status is, if he has any word on the decals, because we wouldn't be able to really paint today anyway. It's not supposed to go up over freezing, but we'll try to do whatever we can. So I started the day off by hanging up the tire that we're going to mount up by the heating vent, trying to pre-warm it a little bit. I don't know how warm it actually gets. It's certainly not hot. You know, usually, here's the whole thing with mounting a tire. On a summer day, I can put that out on a black rubber mat in the driveway and get it up where it just drops right on. In this weather, between the heating vent and my electric heater and a hair dryer, and we may have to use tools at the very end, I don't know, but the whole idea of mounting a tire is the day you're going to mount it. Get the tire warm as soon as possible. Best tip in the world. So first thing today is we'll get out the KURVY girl. Now I got one of each size, and the other one is for the MT-09. So, and maybe I will give this little thing that they suggest you put a drop of Loctite on. I have not done that. I have always put them in hand tight, but I always think if people are recommending to put a drop of Loctite, now the reason I would not want to do that is when you go to take aluminum bolts out that have been Loctited, it's almost impossible to get them out without stripping them. But I think if these went bad and you had to replace them, you got to replace it anyway. They're very thin aluminum. But boy, we've had really good luck. Curvy Girl. Julie at Curvy Girl. So the first step is I've got some 2000 grit paper and I'm just cleaning any oxidation that's in that, the hole where the Curvy Girl goes, just because I'm a fanatic. So if you look real close, you can see where they seal at the base, and so it's real important to get these just exactly on a nice smooth surface, which is what I just tried to do, and I'll do the same to the top where this is actually going to mount. So this is, I'm going to try to Loctite. I'm going to just be experimental here, maybe is the right word, but I have never in the past used the Loctite because I was always concerned about taking them off. But I was super careful not to over tighten them, and just to make it that you couldn't move it. I don't know how to explain that. Maybe the Loctite solves that problem. I don't know. Well, we're gonna find out. That looks like, now to me it's a major thing, because I like to check the air every time I ride the bike. So having it that I don't have to get in here this way, I can just get in from the side. That makes that well worth it. That's a good investment on any time you're changing a tire. So things to note. We want to make sure the tire's going in the right direction, number one. And this is a relatively new tire. This was made on the 29th month of last year, so it's relative to other tires I've gotten. It's relatively new. Nice soft tire. And as I said before many times, I really always prefer Michelin's even on my vehicles. Now there's a million ways you can get that tire on that rim. And there's a lot of things you can do to make it easier no matter how you do it. The whole secret is, if we were in the middle of July, put that outside, get it hot. And then mount it at lunchtime when it's super hot. Flip it over like a pancake, and you can get the tire so hot you almost can't touch it. The tire will just drop right on. It won't be a problem at all. Whether you put zip ties, tape, I've tried zip ties, I've tried tape, and I've tried mounting it that way, and I've tried the obvious. You go to a tire changing machine, all of those things tend to put little dings and dongs in your rims. Now, I don't want, the whole idea of doing it the way I do it, or that I'm going to try to do it, is to not hurt the rim. That's still relatively soft paint, probably a week old. I'd like not to hurt the rim. So I'm going to try, the first step on this is to put duct tape at 12, four pieces, lube up that side, only that side, make sure I've got the tire that I'm going in the right rotation. Since there's no balance mark, we're just going to have to play potluck. And we'll see if Michelin is lying to us, that's for sure, maybe. And then try to get it on, and if I have to at the very end, I'll have to put one of the promotion things for the last little bit, but we'll try it always. But it'll depend 100% on how warm I can make that tire. And I do have an electric heater here that I can try. Maybe that'll even be worth trying. Well, we'll give it a shot. And just as a little reminder, you have these little arrows telling you which way the tire goes, the rotation of the tire, because they put the big symbol is only on one side of the tire. In this case, we have to mount it the opposite way. So I would have to know when I figure this out which way the tire rotation is. So if I go down there and I look at, here's going to be the sprocket, and the tire's going to rotate that way, and I want to put the tape on, but no, the arrows are going in the wrong way. It means I got to mount it the opposite way. But I want to put the tape on from this side. So since we're going to put the tire on this way, this is the way this is going on, and I always double check it, because if you put it on backwards, it's a lot of work getting it off. So I want 4 things of Gorilla Tape, and this is the part that I've learned the hard way, not the do's and don'ts. In the days when I had the yellow dot, I'd always be aware of where the yellow dot was and where against the valve step. Well, with Michelin's, they say that's not, at least that's what they say on YouTube. Do you believe anything from YouTube, though? I don't. Anyway, the thing is, I don't want to go down into the bead. I want to be up out of the bead, but get a good pressure on that. Make sure that's sticking. Now, once I bring that under there, and this looks real easy, but it's tricky to do. Now, if you have a friend, of course, especially a big, strong friend, that then, and you can leave this hanging out. This doesn't even matter. It's getting these two to be as close together as possible. Now, I haven't pre-warmed the tire yet. So this is just ambient temperature here, about, well, maybe 70 degrees or what. No, it's a little warmer because of the heating vent. So I need to do that 3 times. 3 times more. And then I need to see, and it's the critical thing, if I can warm the tire even more with one of my little electric heaters, or go out to the quartz heater. Because I have a feeling we're going to fight this tire. Now, you fight the tire because the wider the rim is, the easier it is to put the tire on. So modern sport bike tires like the MT09 or the R1, they drop on. You could warm them with a hairdryer and drop them on. But these narrow rims from older bikes, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I'd say more than likely we'll be able to warm the tire up. And if we have to, we'll just have that one little thing at the end to pop it over the edge. I'm sure a heat gun works just as good. The quartz heater probably works okay. It doesn't really matter how you do it, but warming the tire, well, you can feel it get warm and ready. But this thing throws out quite a bit of heat when it really gets hot. So I'm going to give this, probably sit here 5 minutes just doing what I'm doing right now. Warm up the tire. The warmer I can do it, the easier it's going to be, that's for sure. Now this is the stuff that Bob Navola bought me years ago. But Dawn works just as well, and the idea is you only have to do this. I'm doing this while the tire is sitting over by the quartz heater. I decided the quartz heater had a better way of dealing with this, and you really just need to protect this side of the rim. You actually don't even have to do the bottom, but I'll do it anyway just in case. This is the critical thing right here, and I'll do the side of the tire that's going to go up here. But again, I've used Dawn, and the Dawn works just as well. So the other heater wasn't throwing out as much heat as the quartz heater. That's anything I can do to warm that tire up, though. It really doesn't matter. I moved to California would be a good choice. Well, I had to use unfortunately, the Motion Pro things to get it on, but yeah, what can I say? Sometime you win, sometime you're just not able to get that tire hot enough, and that is a very difficult rim to mount, but we're ready to take the tape off. So, the Motion Pro things did their job, and unfortunately we were not able to just drop it on, but you know what? Sometime you win, sometime you lose. I try to get all the goop off of this that I can before I take the tape off. Now, taking the tape off, the number one thing about taking the tape off is absolutely positively be sure that you don't leave any tape in the bead. So the first thing here is, let's do one at a time. Pick one side up. Well, it would be nice to have fingernails, wouldn't it? And I need a little tool here. What do I need to get this? Let's see. And this is what I found works the best, is because you don't want that tape going down in the bead. Bring this out over the end of the table, get it loose, and just try to pull it out in one piece. And if it comes out in one piece, you know you got it made. Now, obviously, we did not get the tire warm enough, or a combination of things here. This is a difficult rim to mount, but I have mounted some of these. Sometimes it's just a lucky day. But the Motion Pro things always come to the rescue, and we did not put a single scratch in the wheel. And that's mission accomplished for sure. All right, this seats the bead. We'll go fire up the compressor to maximum pressure and see if it's our lucky day. So with the compressor at maximum pressure, let's just see if it's our lucky day. I love that sound. Ooh, look at that. Wow. It couldn't be any luckier than that. Now, I always, when I mount a tire and I'm not going to go riding a bike that afternoon, I would always want to let it sit overnight. Put in whatever you recommend the pressure you want to ride your bike, 30 or 35 or whatever. And then, of course, check it the next morning and see it didn't go down even 1 pound. Usually you can see right away, even a valve here. KURVY girls never leak, so we're lucky. That popped right on. Amazing. That's just an amazing. And every once in a while you look out like that. But now what I'll do is flip it, do the other side, do the same thing, and I'll record the pressure exactly on my gauge. And then tomorrow morning, this better have the same amount of pressure. And if it does, it would be, well, we ain't going riding, so it doesn't matter. But if you have a leak at the bead, you're going to see it right away, almost instantly. Or if you have one down by the KURVY girl, the Windex is so bubble prone. When you make bubbling fluid, you always use Windex. One of the base ingredients, Windex and Dawn. Okay, so we are, I think that part of it, that worked out better than I thought it would. But this coffee will taste great now that I know the hard part of the day is over. The tire is mounted. We go back down there and balance it. And we'll see if Michelin lied. So they're fighting. Then you know what they're fighting about? The one guy says, you didn't go down and help Wendy put that tire on. That's the reason that tire was so difficult to put on. If I had bird help, it would have dropped right on. Okay, back in the shop. Now the next thing is going to be get it set up for the wheel balancer, and let's see if Michelin lied. I don't know if you can tell if they lied or not. Guess we're going to find out. Well, you certainly learn something every day, and as I'm going to balance this wheel, you know what? I wanted to know, because I know the wheel itself, I know right where the heavy spot is. So, and I'm just, the wheel is certainly very, very close. Now, if this comes back to being right about where my finger is, I'll know that Michelin tire is really, really what they say it is, that it's pretty well balanced. It's going to go back and forth, it's going to go back and forth, and it's going to wind up right about by my finger. I'm going to hold my finger there. Well, I think you can figure this out. Boy, I'm close. That tire is absolutely what they say it is. Yeah, it's going to go back and forth 5 times, but it's going to wind up right by my finger. And that's where we knew this was the heavy side of the wheel. But again, not by much, not by an amount that I don't even think needs to have a weight put on it. That's really, really close. And the little we added from the valve, nothing. So maybe Michelin is telling the truth. I don't. So the next thing on this is to get the disc on. I have my blue Loctite ready. And this will be, well, this will be pretty much all we're going to be able to do on the wheel. We're actually at a really good point here of getting this wheel put back together now. Keep in mind, these are the stainless steel bolts. This is the high grade of stainless, not the low grade. So these should really be nice, and they'll stay polished. That's the main thing. Now, what I want to do is, of course, put each one in hand tight and then go around them and make sure just like you're putting a head on, even I know that's overkill, just the way you would put a head on a motorcycle. Now this of course is in fast forward. I didn't want to spend a long time, but I did want it to show that they do go on in the same way you mount the head on an engine in a star pattern, opposite bolts, and then little by little torque them down until they get to the maximum torque that the manual calls for. Now this is one of the things I wanted to see, because see, you do see back there, and well, I think that's when you're looking at the motorcycle from this angle, that's really going to present, I think it's going to present very well. Yep, no matter how I look at this. And I had Karen come down and she said it definitely looks good. Well, this day really played out well. Everything balanced up. I'm very impressed, because I really wasn't sure. Maybe Michelin was lying. It looks like from my one experience now. But what it really does show you, the modern sport bike tires on the wider rims, they go on like butter. If you're a channel follower, you know the MT-09 just right on. But these narrower rims and these narrower tires are a little more, and you know, I don't want to I don't want to belabor the point, but you can't make the tire warm enough. If we had a sunny day, would have stacked the deck in our favor, but it still would have been a bear to do it. Anyway, I want to thank the healthcare workers. Guys, thank you so much. It's unbelievable that you've kept us safe like this, and I, for one, totally appreciate it. It allows me to do this kind of work, stay busy, and hopefully forever young. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks so much for watching. Now, before I end the video, I thought this would be a funny thing to end the video with. This is replacing the front tire on the R1, not that long ago either. I replaced it with a Pirelli. Took the Michelin off, replaced it with a Pirelli Angel that I got from Vlad. And this was possibly, of all the sport bike, modern sport bike tires that I've had trouble mounting, this one was really in a class by itself. I don't know why. You never know. I think it's all determined by the heat, the amount of heat that's in the tire. But again, it's all in the eye of the beholder. And I just noticed I'm wearing the same shirt. You think I'm homeless. I only have one shirt. But anyway, here we are. Months ago, I cut the old tire off. Getting the old tire off does more damage to the rim. In the cases I've seen, you damage the rim and scratch it more than putting a new tire on. But anyway, and this is one of our more popular videos, so it's got a lot of hits. A lot of people have seen it. But this is really funny, and I wanted to just show this in real time. I think this is a funny thing. You think all tires would mount the same? Not really. This one, of all the tires I've mounted on modern sport bikes, and they usually on modern bikes mount right up, this one didn't. Watch the struggle. If this is our lucky day, you never know when it's your lucky day. This does not look like our lucky day. What it is the tire is too cold. We're going to have to really heat this tire up. Boy, this thing is unbelievable. This is possibly the hardest tire I've ever had to put on. Unbelievable. But we showed it in real time, just so you'd be impressed. Yeah, I'm sure you're impressed, and then, by the way, I'm impressed too. But what I'm impressed with is the tires all mount differently. There's a lot of ways to do it. I try to show ways that have worked for me in the past. I really hate damaging rims at any price. I don't want to be all done with a job and be at the point I'm at in this picture right now. I'm putting a rim back on, and I see a big gouge or a scratch or a bite mark or something. It just makes me crazy. Well, but of course you know I am crazy, so local crazy person. But anyway, I'm not out on the roof of my house shoveling snow off, so I guess I'm not totally crazy, but that's all in the eye of the beholder. So again, I try to share information, and I try to do it without leaving out steps or without leaving out embarrassing moments where things don't exactly go my way. And that's pretty often.